13. It's Friday the 13th in 2020. Can't get much scarier than that. Extreme superstition is the definition. Texas doesn't have a number 13 on the roster. Texas defeated BYU 3-1, so on and so forth. So that particular number actually bears a certain significance instead of just, you know, it's Friday the 13th.
Yeah, and if you're Texas, you know, with no 13 on the roster, maybe a little belief in that superstition.
So here's the serve from O'Brien. Hastings to handle for West Virginia. And that's off the hand, and that'll score Kristen Lux, the junior outside hitter.
Yeah, and West Virginia needs Kristen Lux. They go to their outsides often. Between Lux and Petrova, West Virginia loves their outside hitters, and you can see why right here Kristen Lux shoots that off Breon Butler.
Team high 13 kills last night for Lux. As the rally begins, right down the middle, and it's a point for Texas. It's Butler dropping the hammer. She'll be there all night. Yeah, and she's known for her defense, but here you're going to see a kill. She's the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week for what she did a week ago at Baylor, at number 2 Baylor, 17 blocks, about 21 kills. Yeah, how about the placement of that kill as well, as far as you can get. And Lynch will drop one in for the Mountaineers. Yeah, Lynch doesn't want to be outshone in the middle. We got two really good middle hitters featured in this one with Butler and Lynch, two of the best in the country. WVU's only preseason All Big 12 selection had a 11-kill performance last night. Blocked by West Virginia. Texas recovers. And again, perfectly placed. Point for Texas, and it's Phillips. Yeah, they use the back set here. They go to Phillips, and you can see Lynch on the replay there, a little fooled. And you cannot get fooled by this Texas setter, because if you do, you're giving some of the best hitters in the country a free swing. Peterson. Right down the middle, Dombrowski. West Virginia to reorganize here. Luck set up. And Eggleston just knocks it over, way wide. And we are knotted at 3. Back and forth we go here in this first set. And going back to last night, West Virginia would actually take the first set due to aces, and both teams just sort of feeling that process right now. Yeah, and Coach Sunohara said something this week that was really important. You can't let a team go on runs, especially as powerful as Texas is. You'll never be able to make up that run. So it's Stokes. And she gets that ace. Had 4 of those last night, picks up right where she left off, and West Virginia up now by 1. Yeah, had 5 last night. This is another Sky Stokes ace right here, and it's right on the end line. Stokes now with 10 on the season. And here she is again. Dugwell coming across, and that's too tough to handle from Asia O'Neal, the redshirt sophomore middle blocker from Southlake, Texas. Big performance there. She actually hit perfect against West Virginia last season, won 8 for 8 on October 19th of 2019. 4-4 is where we stand here in the first set. Thanks for joining us here on ESPN+. Eggleston on the way. Hastings digs. Lynch overhits that one, point Texas. Yeah, this is a tough set. This is going to be a hard one for Lynch to hit because the ball's coming over top of her head. You'll see it here. It's a tough, they're trying to run a quick, they're trying to run a timing play, and that's a tough one to time out. Rare miss from her. She's hitting .360 this year, which is 4th in the Big 12. Eggleston serving is best in the Big 12 with 4.7 kills per set, and she serves here. Lynch blocked at the net, recovers. And blocked again. That duo of O'Neal and Fields was there at the net as well. Texas goes up 2. Yeah, and that's going to be the story of the night, right? So last night, Texas with 13 blocks to West Virginia's 2. It will be, can these West Virginia hitters get this ball around the Texas block but keep it in? Speaking of past performances, Fields, who got her hand on that one, had a career best 8 blocks against West Virginia back in 2019 as well. So good performances for Texas historically against this Mountaineer team. And driven hard by Fields. There she is. She can not only block, but kill as well. Second on the team in kills. And now Texas up 3 at 7-4. Yeah, Fields listed at 6'2", uses her length to really get off the floor. Coach Jarrett Elliott for Texas in his 20th season. And we were talking with some Texas staff before the game, and Coach Elliott thinks that the back line that he has right now is as good as it's been in a long time. And we were just talking about it before the game actually started, was that this Texas team is going to be here for a while as West Virginia gets to that point.
Yeah, I mean, you look up and down the roster, and it's filled with juniors. I mean, and gaining another year of eligibility with the COVID situation that we're all in. This potentially could be their lineup for the next 2 seasons.
Certainly dangerous, #1 team in the country. Here on the road, once again, they are perfect this season, up by 2. Stokes will just lift it back over. Slide blocked by West Virginia. Nice job on O'Neal. Good setup here, but another big block from Texas right at the net. It's Gabriel and O'Neal. That's as good as a setup as you can get for West Virginia, and they're just there every time.
Yeah, and here, Coach Sunohara in his 6th season at West Virginia, 68-97 overall, but he feels like his team is so close to turning the corner. A season of first for West Virginia. First time ranked. He's done it twice now. First time they beat Iowa State. This is a season of first in this Mountaineer program.
Error from Texas brings the margin to 2, 8-6. Texas by 2 here in our first set. And yeah, we were talking about it, and you know, Coach Sunohara said this is where, speaking of West Virginia's performance and their standings this season, this is where we would have liked to have been at. COVID sort of made it an interesting season, but success is success nonetheless, and West Virginia enjoying the fruits of their labor. Blocked at the net, and point goes to West Virginia. A little too deep in there was Butler for Texas.
Yeah, Butler unable to get it over on the first contact right here, and it comes back to her. She hits it again. That's double hit. That's 2 hits. Point West Virginia.
Here's Lindsey Proctor. Service play to the back line, and bit of a miss hit there from Ilani Yosia. And we are knotted up at 8 here in the first set.
Yeah, that's uncharacteristic of Yosia. She's been lights out this season as a libero for the Longhorns.
And a career best 14 digs 3 weeks ago against Texas Tech, the freshman from Torrance, California. Here she is again to play that service. Gabriel set up, Butler, slam dunk, if you can call it that, and it hits the line. Nice setup there for Texas.
Yeah, and this is what happens when she gets the perfect ball. That is her swing. You see the reaction there. That's going to be hard for any team to play.
Hastings can only do so much. This all-time advantage for Texas, 16-0 against the Mountaineers. Coming into this weekend. Adams with a push, played by Gabriel. And another hard drive. Fields gets the kill this time.
Yeah, Fields drives this ball.
So Texas does lead the all-time series, 13-0. Texas would sweep West Virginia last season. They're perfect at the Coliseum as visitors, 9-0.
Yeah, and what's so impressive about these Texas hitters is where they hit the ball on the floor, right? They're so athletic, they're so long, they get up, that ball's coming straight down, so your defense is set a little deeper than where they're going to actually hit the ball. You just don't think it's possible that somebody can hit a ball where they hit it.
Petrova on that error, and might start seeing more of that from West Virginia throughout the game, because then you try and fine-tune your hit because Texas is blocking so well, and then you get away from your fundamentals.
Yeah, and you try to hit around these blocks, and what happens is you end up hitting balls long and wide, and you start having a lot of attacking errors. And last night, West Virginia to the tune of 30 attack errors against this Longhorn defense.
Gabriel off a nice dig from West Virginia. Fields plays it, no double hit call. And point goes to Texas. That just a little too long. And now Texas begins to create some distance here, up 4 points. First time in this set. Big advantage for the Longhorns, and we will get a timeout here for West Virginia.
Yeah, and again, it's been back and forth, right? Texas goes on a little 4-0 run here. Came up huge in the 5th set. And West Virginia able to get its first win in program history once joining the Big 12 against the Cyclones.
Senior middle blocker out of Johns Creek, Georgia, Brianna Lynch for West Virginia. And there's an error from Texas, back within 3.
Yeah, just what the doc.
Sophomore out of Katy, Texas. Great serve, played well by Eggleston. Opposite side, no good, just outside the line. West Virginia gets the point, and 2 quick points right after the timeout.
Yeah, and something you don't see very often from this Texas group is a hitting error.
West Virginia had 30 of those last night. Fields misses the mark. Here she is again, gets it that time, gets it right back.
Yeah, Texas last night in 4 sets, only 9 attacking errors all night. So it is rare. She gets another chance, and she this time delivers.
And gets her 3rd kill of the night so far. About midway through our first set here from Morgantown. Way too far that time by Kristen Lux.
Yeah.
And the advantage is 4.
Thought it might have been touched. A couple Mountaineers looking around. Up official says no touch. Point Texas.
So here's the grad student, Morgan O'Brien, with the serve. Completed her undergraduate degree at Illinois and then is attending graduate school at Texas. And she didn't even actually come out for the volleyball team when she got there originally.
Yeah, just kind of fell into the lap of Texas, right? So she finds a grad program she's really interested in. It is at Texas. Doesn't say anything like, hey, I want to go play volleyball at Texas. Just goes to Texas as a grad student. Coach Elliott gets a call. Hey, you've got a really fantastic volleyball player, been in the Final Four, and she's just walking around on your campus. So Coach Elliott lands a top volleyball player in the country just by her going to grad school there.
Plays that libero position out of Libertyville, Illinois, averaging 4 digs per set. And West Virginia gets the point off the hand of the block.
Yeah, and if you're West Virginia, you've done a nice job. You limited that first run that Texas went on. Last night we saw that stretch out to as many as a 10-0 run that the Longhorns would go on. So tonight West Virginia's trimmed that down to just 3 to 4 points. But you got to keep pace.
Adams with the serve, laid by Yosia, and it's off the hand of Winter.
Yeah, that's a tough ball. Winter tries to go with one arm here. You're going to see it. She sticks out her left arm. She's unable to get 2, and really tough to dig that ball with one arm.
Yosia in the black jersey for Texas. Hastings. There's turns, and Lynch perfectly set up. That's an excellent, excellent set from Zerwas.
Yeah, it was. It was a really well-timed play by West Virginia. Texas actually reads this well. The block is set on the quick, but she kind of splits that block.
So 4-point advantage is where we've been hanging out. Texas has not gone down in this first set yet, as we're back underway. And again, right down the line, surgical from Phillips.
Yeah, and West Virginia's got to find a way to get its block going a little bit. You've got to make these Texas hitters face some sort of adversity at the net, some sort of barrier to go around. Right now, Texas going over West Virginia.
Phillips comes off, and she's replaced by Sydney Peterson. Junior libero serves just over the net, and that is an easy point for O'Neal. Set up by the service.
Yeah, one of the keys tonight to keep an eye on is serve, serve, receive. That battle between these two teams, you've got to have good first contacts because you really have to fire at Texas to keep them on their heels. If they get on the offensive, you're in trouble.
And they have found the offensive side of the ball coming easily this game. Lynch set up, blocked. This play by Petrova. West Virginia.
Yeah, giving them Texas the free ball here, and that's going to be a challenge. Anytime you give a team as good as Texas a free ball, they're going to make you pay, and you can see it right here. Free ball, big swing. It just goes wide. Again, one of those errors that's just kind of uncommon to see from the Longhorns.
5-point game. 18-13, Texas by 5. Stokes on a service roll here in this series. Missile, Eggleston, Point Texas.
Yeah, Eggleston is a very, very impressive hitter. On a team that's full of impressive hitters, she's the one that stands atop all of these Longhorns.
Now, statistically, this Texas team, incredible. 6th in the country in blocks per set, 5th in assists per set, 4th in kills per set. That's what happens when you're the #1 team in the nation. And an easy drop down. O'Neal able to score off the mishandle. And Texas 5 points away from a first set victory. So Coach Sanahara for West Virginia will call the timeout, trying to slow the bleeding a little bit.
Yeah, plenty of that athleticism.
All right, back to the action. Eggleston over. Stokes plays. Lynch took something off it, whether it was intentional or not.
Yeah, I think this is a bit of a miss hit. You're going to see it here. She gets the ball up on her fingertips a little more than she wants, which kind of kills the momentum. And you see the Longhorn defense set deep on their heels.
And that's the breaking ball. Gabriel across, Fields answered at the net by the Mountaineers. Hastings. Petrova dug by Fields. Pushed over by Eggleston. Petrova again. Easily played by Gabriel. Fields gets it.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of time. If she gets 3 swings, you can bet she's going to convert one of those into a kill, and here it is. Whew. Gets up. I mean, that's the impressive part. Not only a long, tall athlete, but gets off the floor so well.
And it doesn't even look like these Texas athletes are really working to get these kills. That's just how clean and structured they are as a team. And again, they get the block off of Adams, that combination. Butler, who's back into the game along with Fields.
Yeah, so West Virginia giving up height at the net already. And, man, the challenge is get the ball by that block. And, again, as the match goes on, see if that turns into West Virginia hitting errors.
22-14, 3 points away from a first set claimed by the Longhorns. Here is O'Neal. Stokes will just get it over. Eggleston digs, pushed across, Fields again.
And again, if you're a West Virginia block, it's really tough because she's hitting over you. It's not like you don't have it set in the right location. It's there. She's just going over the top of the block.
O'Neal, just a redshirt sophomore, delivers way long. West Virginia will get the point there. Still down by 8. This is turning into a decisive first set for Texas, and will take something special to turn the tide here. But a lot of volleyball left. Proctor into the net.
Yeah, and if West Virginia is going to upset the #1 ranked team in the country, you have to play pretty well perfect. I mean, you can't afford any kind of mistakes. This Texas team, undefeated.
7 consecutive weeks ranked #1, point away from claiming the first set here. Stokes just gets it over. And that is in off the outside hit. It is Phillips landing the final blow. 25-15 is the first set, and it belongs to Texas. Convincingly done as they take the 1-0 lead into the match. Back for set #2, and we come back as Texas leads West Virginia after 1. Texas hitting .414 to begin the game. 16 kills on 29 total attacks. West Virginia in the negative at negative .065.
Texas getting 3 blocks in set #1 to West Virginia's 0.
Proctor digs for West Virginia. Sent across off the top of the net, and we have an unlucky bounce there for Lux as it just rolls across and is out of play.
Yeah, this ball catches the top of the tape that goes across the top of the net, and it shoots it to the right, which shot it straight down the net and out of bounds.
This is Yosia for Texas. A little bit messy here for West Virginia. Lux still gets a good strike out of it and saved at the net. Just lifted back over.
Need to use it. Need to take advantage of the free ball.
Can't there. O'Brien. Good block. Lux, beautifully done. Oh, get the point, just pushed along the line.
Yeah, nice play here by Lux because she knows this ball's set in a location where she can't do anything with it, so she just takes it and shoots it down the line with that open hand.
You're just joining us, West Virginia in the gray and Texas in the white. Eggleston, like a bullet, 2-1.
Yeah, it's exactly what she does.
Every time, it seems, for Logan Eggleston. Ranks 3rd in the nation, hitting .335. Texas as a team. As mentioned before, 5 of those top 7 players in the Big 12 in particular belong to this Texas program. Some nationally best. And of course, going to be best in the conference. Eggleston again, off the hand. West Virginia gets to that. Lynch part of that block. Great dig. O'Neal pushes it over, and that'll be enough. Eggleston, though, takes advantage.
Yeah, and if you're West Virginia, the problem in this sequence, in this rally, is that 4 different times you took a ball and you just pushed it over the net. Against this Texas team, again, you can't give them easy ball after easy ball. Eventually, they're going to make you pay, and that's exactly what happened.
Luck's got about as good as a look as you can get. Lynch will touch it back over. Proctor begins. And that's off of the Texas player. Sydney Peterson got a piece of it. Libero couldn't handle it.
Yeah, she's a little bit aggravated herself. That ball going out of bounds, and she knew it, but she just couldn't resist touching that ball.
So 1 point set here. Osia off the West Virginia service. Eggleston again gets the kill. Blew it past Hastings, too much on it.
And again, you can see part of the problem here. So we talked about how they're able to drive that ball in front of you. This time, if you start creeping up, she puts it behind you with a little force on it, and you can't get to it in time.
Eggleston, the junior outside hitter, Brentwood, Tennessee native. Beautiful serve, well handled. Lynch blocked right at the net. It is O'Neal and Fields.
Yeah, and you say, okay, well, you have to attack at this Texas team, because if you give them something easy, you know they're going to make you pay. But when you attack, they smother you with that block. So your first contact's so important, because you have to keep them off balance.
Eggleston hit .722 back in 2019 against West Virginia, and she is on pace for a similar performance tonight. Fields rising high from the dig from Hastings. Tossed back over by Lux. Good set. O'Neal blocked at the net. Nice job, Lux and Lynch.
And again, West Virginia, if they're going to have a chance, they've got to get that block going, because that can put some pressure on these Texas hitters. Not giving them free swings at your back row, that'll help out your defense a ton.
All right, ace in the hole for West Virginia. Pun intended. Stokes. And curse the broadcaster there, Jason.
Yeah, she has the tendency, if she misses, to miss long. And that's exactly what she did there. Just missed it clearly long. Texas didn't even think about playing that ball.
She's got 10 aces this season. That's Sky Stokes for West Virginia. And that's her 36th air as well off of service. O'Neal. Knuckleball sent over. Lynch off the hands. That'll score a point for West Virginia. And the Mountaineers back within 2.
Yeah, and if you're West Virginia, your challenge here is just hang around. Try to get to late in the match and be within 2 if you have hopes of upsetting this Texas team.
Hastings, the senior, is there for the dig with the serve as well. And that's off the pole. Texas will get the point. They're up by 3 here in the second set, already leading 1-0.
Yeah, and you're going to see here the attacking error. Dombrowski tries to go down the line, but clips the antenna. The antenna in volleyball, as you know, is instantly called out of bounds.
Gabriel out of Honolulu, Hawaii. Petrova answered, and that is far and away over to the opposite side scores table.
Yeah, and really, somebody who struggled to get going last night was Petrova. She continued to hit into that block, and Texas had her figured out. Already, through the first 2 sets, finding some success tonight.
I'd like to see her heat up. She's the team leader in points and kills for this West Virginia team. Fields, a missile, hard to handle for Proctor, and Texas will get the point.
So oftentimes it's this front row for Texas who gets the credit, and it is well-deserved. However, it is the unsung heroes of the defense, those defensive specialists behind those front row hitters that are delivering balls on the money to the setter.
Petrova cleanly blocked Phillips and Butler.
Yeah, Phillips and Butler timed this perfect. The two are right on top of Petrova. That's the problem if that set gets tight to the net. As a hitter, you don't have much room to work.
Hastings. Petrova's attack answered. Blocked by Petrova. Pushed up and away. Nice dig there by Hastings to keep it alive. Stokes over. Yosia. Near side. Nice dig. Proctor. Petrova blocked. It's back over by Hastings. Phillips blocked at the net. And Texas will get that point. May have hit the antenna or a net violation.
We actually have a net violation called on Texas. They don't even realize it yet. This point has gone to West Virginia. The down official signals the net violation.
So West Virginia gets the point back there. Gonna send it back the other way. So that is a 2-point swing. Would have been a 5-point set. Now it's a 3-point set.
Yeah, and really one that can give you a little bit of momentum. A well-earned point by West Virginia.
Kind of got the fans back into this one. Limited capacity here at the Morgantown Coliseum, but excellent support. Always turn out for the Texas game. And that attack from West Virginia's Kristen Lux, the outside hitter, misses long. So back underway here, 11-6. Texas up. 1-0, and leading in the second set here. And that's touchdown beautifully. O'Neal will get the kill. And they've doubled up West Virginia here in the second set.
Yeah, and this comes off of an overpass. Another easy ball for Texas to pass to its setter. Setter has 3 options to go to. They go quick. West Virginia's defense not set and ready.
Yosia drives it over. Winter will allow Adams to attack. Texas back the other way. Blocked at the net. Nice dig from Hastings. That'll be set up for Lux. She's blocked. Winter with a pushover. Eggleston's attack is dug well by Winter. Lifted back over. O'Brien, Gabriel, O'Neal had her kill. What would be kill deflected, and now the block gets the Texas point.
Yeah, so time and time again, West Virginia's defense digging out big-time swings.
Tia is set to serve for the Longhorns. Just over the net, dug well by Proctor. Lux. Nice drive off the hand of Gabriel. West Virginia gets the point.
West Virginia hitting -115. Now that'll help, but they need more consistency out of their outside hitters here. Also, if you're West Virginia, you're holding Texas to just hitting 136, so you can tip your cap to that, but you've got to find a way to get some kills of your own.
Lux now has a team-high 5 for West Virginia, and Eggleston's kill is off the hand, falling down. Eggleston now with a team-high 6 along with Fields.
Yeah, the block gets just a piece of it there, and the West Virginia defense just can't get going forward quick enough.
Here is Gabriel, Big 12 leader in assists, 4th in the nation with 11.5 per set, had 95 last week against Baylor in those 2 games. Long is the strike from Lux.
So West Virginia has made an adjustment here. We saw it last night. They're bringing their outside hitters in closer to the setter, not attacking quite so far outside, trying to move that Texas block.
And Gabriel also closing in on 2,000 career assists as the junior delivers. Lynch gets it right in front of Yosia, 15-8.
West Virginia's trying to build some momentum, but to do that, you've got to steal more than a point at a time. So it's going to start with a run at the service line for West Virginia.
Lacey Zerwas, the junior from Phoenix. Yosia answers on the slide. O'Neal gets it done. Nice placement there right in front of Zerwas. Yeah, so Texas gets the point.
O'Neal runs the slide. It's not a perfectly timed set, but you can see her athleticism, how she hangs in the air there with that hesitation before delivering that swing.
Eggleston at the ready. And mishandled by Hastings. You know, it's interesting with all the success that Texas has had at the net in this series, but obviously in this game as well. We haven't seen that much of Breon Butler being a part of that.
And that's something the Texas staff said, hey, over her last 4 matches, she's really turned it on.
And carry there on Zerwas. Texas gets the point, up by 10 here in the second set.
Yeah, really starting to exert themselves here on West Virginia. So much so that Coach Sunohara is going to call his second and final timeout of this second set.
Coach Sunohara will try and slow things down here yet again. I'm trying to get this away from you here in the second set, because when Texas goes up 2-0 game, and Texas, being a team that can coach themselves, really can correct mistakes like that, certainly.
Yeah, Texas hit 414 in set number 1, just hitting 192 now. West Virginia at negative .065 in the first and the second set, hitting in the negatives.
Back to the action. Eggleston serves for Texas. Lynch, big drive off the hand and settled by the Longhorns. Dombrowski gets a piece of it, and Hastings will just lift it over. Shook. O'Neal, enough on it over the top, or at least the top of the hands of Zerwas.
And for those at home, you get another look at that drive by Texas. But what does a negative hitting percentage mean? It means that in your attack attempts, you have more errors than you do kills. So you're looking at really a kill to error comparison there. And Texas, 8 kills, 2 errors in the second set. West Virginia, 6 kills against 8 errors.
Ogagar into the game now, and she'll switch with Dombrowski for West Virginia. Zerwas, Lynch over the block, but dug well. Fields gets it done for Texas. Rolls it off the underside of the hands of the Mountaineers blockers.
Yeah, West Virginia's got to find a way to get better first contacts. Got to fool this Texas defense.
So most dominant set by far for Texas as a part of this series, up 12. Lynch again blocked, enough to handle for Texas. Quick play answered. Lynch back the other way. Yosia is there. Fields a touch over. Lux the dig. Ogagar wide, 21-8.
Didn't get behind this ball. Hits it wide outside of the antenna. And wouldn't you know it, on Friday the 13th, West Virginia trails by 13 here in the second set.
Off of the miss hit by number 13. Eggleston. That's a beautiful serve. Hastings is there, though. Fields blocked. 50-50 ball. And Winter plays that one, likely going long, 22-8.
Yeah, bit of a mistimed block, and Fields just goes over the top of it.
So Texas 3 points away from a 2-0 advantage here. Eggleston. Zerwas right down the middle. Wide from Lux.
Yeah, Lux takes a full cut at this ball, but she's set up at such a sharp angle, the ball has no place to go but straight out of bounds. Just another hitting error for the Mountaineers.
So Eggleston going to have another shot at this serve here. More juice on that one. Lynch off the nets. And Texas a point away from taking the 2-0 set lead.
And you were correct, that's the most oomph we've seen on an Eggleston serve, but I think that's because of the lead, right? So you're up 24-8, you got nothing to lose here. Take a big cut, see if you can get an ace to end the second set.
Winter comes on for Petrova. Sure, Eggleston would love an ace here. Almost does with the help of the net. Lux blocked. Set 2, Texas 25-8, most dominant sets of this series as Texas leads the Mountaineers here on the road. Number one, looking like number one, 25-15, and then most recently, 25-8, best of 5. Texas needs just one more to complete the sweep. The intermission we go. It is Texas leading West Virginia 2-0 as we head into the third set. Jason, what are you expecting after a dominant first 2 sets from Texas?
Yeah, you got to keep an eye on those team blocks. Texas starting to extend the lead. 17 blocks for Texas, just 1 for West Virginia. Also keeping an eye on the attacking errors. West Virginia now up to 20 attacking errors through 2 to Texas's 6. So last night had 30. West Virginia did through 4 sets. They already have 20 through the first 2.
O'Brien will serve for Texas individually. So many kills for so many players. 8 for Fields for Texas, 6 for Eggleston, 6 for O'Neal as West Virginia. It's a big rise out of the crowd and the sidelines as they claim the first set, or first point of set 3.
Maybe Ogagar can be that spark for the Mountaineers. Here you're going to see it. She's hitting out of the middle. She's typically a right side hitter, but she gets an opportunity out of the middle and she makes the most of it.
Now listed as a middle blocker on the roster, sophomore from San Antonio, Texas. Gabriel, Butler's blocked. Zerwas can dish it across. Petrova gets it down in front of Yosia.
What's so impressive about this Petrova swing in particular is she got up off the floor. It's the most elevation we've seen her get maybe all season in the Coliseum.
Stokes, beautiful, and she gets it. Another ace for Sky Stokes.
Yosia doesn't often make a wrong call in the back row, but here she drops to a knee, calls it out. Line judge says nope, right on the line.
Stokes, just a freshman from Chester, West Virginia. Yosia handles that one. Phillips finds the mark off the arm of Hastings.
Yeah, Phillips doesn't hit this ball quite like you see in Eggleston or Butler, but she does an excellent job of picking her spots.
Here is Yosia now, freshman in her own right. Just over the net. Set up for Adams. Excellent hit. Hard to handle.
You called it. This is the hardest hit we've seen by a Mountaineer all evening. Really gets her momentum behind that ball and drives it home.
Yeah, she knew it too. See that celebration. West Virginia now up 3, 4-1 in set 3. And there is the Texas answer. Quality play from Eggleston there.
So what do you do if you're the West Virginia defense? Are you going to sit back? Because she can absolutely drive the ball. And then she sees you sitting back, she just hits the changeup right in front of you.
Peterson to serve. West Virginia 4, Texas 2. Early on in our third set. Thanks for joining us here on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Misfire from Lynch. Point Texas within 1.
Yeah, tough to run that play on this first contact. So Zerwas gets a ball where it really probably should go to the outside. She tries to force that to Lynch in the middle.
Peterson was played by Stokes, but there to be saved by Petrova. On the slide, O'Neal. Thunderous finish, and we're knotted at 4.
I think she knew that we did a package on her at intermission because she delivers here. I mean, there is no stopping that. You either block that ball at the net or that's a kill.
Yeah, perfectly split between the back lines, so if the front's not getting it, no one is. Stokes digs. Lynch, strong on Peterson, but she's there. Eggleston softly over. Hastings for Petrova, high. Dugwell O'Brien, there's the grad student. Eggleston, Hastings goes high on it. That's a nice setup here for Petrova, softly over. Peterson, a nice answer. Eggleston still got a lot on it, despite the awkward setup. Ogagar finds Pater, 5-4.
Great swing by Ogagar. This ball is in her wheelhouse. Snaps through the ball, and it snaps right to the floor.
Ogagar gets kill number 2 as West Virginia goes up 1. Texas still up. 2-0 here. Early on in our third set. Here is Proctor for West Virginia. Eggleston down the line, well answered by Proctor. Lynch, was that off a hand? Answer is yes. West Virginia by 2 now, 6-4.
Yeah, line judge calls this as an
even playing field here in our third set. This is Eggleston. Proctor with a dig. Lynch off a hand, nicely done.
Yeah, Lynch gets on this ball before the Texas block is ready and set. So she actually gets there before that block is at its peak, and by that happening, it ricochets off that block into the floor.
Mountaineers up 1, 6-5. Gabriel from Yosia. Fields. Well played by Petrova. Lux. Easily handled by Eggleston. Fields off a hand. Hasting from Petrova and lifted back over by Proctor. Fields. Goodness gracious. Ties it at 6.
Yeah, if you're at home and you want to see what you should do as a hitter, this is what you want to watch.
Fields actually a high pedigree coming into this Texas program. Second on the team in kills. He was actually the #1 recruit in the class of 2018. A sophomore out of Missouri City, Texas. Listed at 6'2". Blocked at the net, but it dies on Texas's side. Lux will get the kill.
Yeah, and early on here, West Virginia not going away, right? I mean, they're battling point for point, and actually with a 1-point lead here. You know Texas has got a run in them. You want to build a little bit of a barrier there, so when they go on that run, they're just evening things out.
Hastings will try and begin this run for West Virginia. Butler is there for the Longhorns and knots it up at 7.
Yeah, Butler goes right over the senior Audrey Adams.
I'm not sure if there's any team in the nation where you have a feel of when a point is coming and you're almost certain, especially when it gets set up in the middle for this Texas team. Gabriel into the net. Point West Virginia on the service error.
Again, we hit on it in the open. This team for Texas, 14 service errors last night. They've been better tonight, but there's a big one.
West Virginia trying to pull away. Butler is dug by Zerwas. Hastings now. That's way overhit by Lux.
This is an attacking error that is unforced. You don't need it. There's no way you're getting a kill on this ball. It's set over top your head. Just roll that one into the floor.
I was going to say it was almost too perfect of a setup to where you almost have too much time to think about it. And different timing as we've seen this set from West Virginia throughout the game. That was a little off. Rolls across the net, which isn't a bad thing, obviously, but you know, maybe explains the mistake there. And saved with a top of the hand by Gabriel. Lux will have another shot. Gabriel across. Petrova's there. Clean setup here. Ogagar blocked at the net. Point Texas.
Yeah, Texas is going to get the point. They really, I think, got by with a net violation early in that rally. It went a little unnoticed. The net was already shaking because the ball had been in it. I think the officials thought maybe the ball continued to cause that, but happened right in front of us.
Lux denied convincingly. Butler and Phillips were there.
West Virginia could sure use one of her aces right here.
Has one tonight and answered by Yosia. Butler off a hand and converts 10-9.
Yeah, this is Scott Stokes. She's just over a little too far, a little too to her left, close to the libero Hastings. I'd like to see her even that up a little bit more, center of the floor.
A little bit difficult there for Hastings. Stoke is there to set up Petrova. O'Brien, high for Eggleston, overhits it. West Virginia will get the point. Back and forth we go here in set 3.
Miss it here by Eggleston. You don't see it often. She's underneath the ball, causes this ball to float long on her.
Adams will serve. Gabriel, Eggleston. Lynch overhit it. Yosia played it. Phillips drives it home.
Phillips is such a nice change of pace for them. They go right side to Phillips on the back set here. She splits the block. We've seen her do it multiple times. Not a hitter that's going over the block like we see some of these other Texas hitters. She's using it to split the block and find her spots.
And you said it exactly right. I mean, she's the perfect change of pace, just under 2 kills and 1 block per set this season. As a sophomore, O'Brien Diggs. Nice setup there for Lynch. Beautifully done on the change in timing from Zerwas' set. West Virginia knocks it at 11.
What a great play by Lacey Zerwas at the net. This ball is overpassed. It's going to go over the net. She goes up and gets it before it can, throws it to her hitter Lynch, who gives her an assist.
Proctor over. A little far for Eggleston, and she is able to convert. That one, I think, going over the net a little bit, and all she had to do was touch it over. Awkward to deal with for West Virginia, and a collision there. 2 Mountaineers going for it, and no worse for wear. 12-11.
Yeah, Petrova and Proctor, the two diving at it, actually collide.
Score will serve. As Hastings to dig. Lynch blocked at the net. West Virginia with a hit left, and it is over. Yosia. Fields gets the point right on the opposite side. And what West Virginia has been trying to avoid all throughout this game, an awkward setup, turns into an easy approach for this Texas hitting unit.
Yeah, and now that you have Fields in the front row, I mean, Fields known for her ability to get off the floor, hit this ball straight down. Eggleston takes a little more of an angle at her hits.
And Eggleston gets the ace there on the serve. Texas pulling away here in our 3rd set. In the 1st set tonight, but Texas warmed up and they would answer.
Yeah, and Texas doing what Texas does, right? Middle part of each one of these first 3 sets, they've gone on a run. West Virginia did a nice job of hanging around early, but it's always been a Texas run right here in the middle of each of these sets that's opened up the match.
14-11, Texas by 3. Going to get out of tonight unscathed. With plays like that, Lynch is blocked by Fields and O'Neal right at the net. Or no,
yeah.
I checked that. Actually, that's going to be West Virginia's point, because that got over.
Yeah, you weren't the only one that
yeah.
was fooled. Fields jumped up and celebrated. She didn't even realize the ball had stayed on Texas' side of the net.
So 14-12, Texas by 2. O'Neal blocked. Lynch and Zerwas there. She'll get another go. Petrova keeps it alive. Lux is dug by Yosia. Moved across, point, Lynch. Check that, Fields with the Texas register.
Yeah, both of these teams communicating so well. You're hearing them call line and cross and cover. I mean, both these teams are putting on display why they're both ranked in the top 15.
Fields now with a game high 11 kills. O'Neal on the service for Texas. Fields is stuffed at the net that time. Zerwas and Lynch.
Zerwas comes out of there super stoked for her team, trying to do anything she can to keep some of that momentum, not let it slip away. See if West Virginia can close to within 1.
Hastings, the error, too long, 16-13.
Untimely error there as you're trying to crawl back in it.
So this is Gabriel's service. Lux attacks with conviction and gets the point.
Yeah, Lux goes early here. She speeds up. You see her approach to this ball much quicker than she has the others. Just tried to beat to the block, tried to beat the block there. Wanted to go get that ball quick.
It really did sell out on that attempt. Right down the middle, there is Breon Butler. Perfectly dummied as they looked like they were going to go far side. Ended up right down the pipe.
Completely fooled was West Virginia. She stands 6'4", but I got to tell you, she looks much taller.
And that is Ogagar's kill, as that deflected and bounced all the way off of Gabriel over the top of the net. And everyone holding their breath, hoping that wouldn't land in West Virginia's side.
Yeah, it not only came over the net, it went all the way through the West Virginia court and out the inline.
2-point set here, Texas up 17-15. Stokes on the serve. Nice dig. And Phillips down the line gets it in, 18-15.
Phillips, a bit of a change for what she's shown West Virginia. She's gone cross court, cross court, cross court. Here she goes line.
Yosia's serve answered. Ogagar right down the middle.
West Virginia definitely has found something here in Ogagar in that middle. 2 big kills in this set from the middle.
Yeah, no mitigation whatsoever from Texas that time. Phillips off the hands. Stokes is there. Here's Petrova. Wide right. 19-16. Texas 6 points away from the sweep here tonight.
Yeah, another attacking error here. Number 25 on the night.
West Virginia with 30 of those in 4 sets last night. Ogagar. Back-to-back blocks for each team. Ogagar again, blocked clean. Get towards the back line. Petrova softly over, nicely done. West Virginia stayed in here.
So Petrova has her shoulders looking like she's going cross court. Rears back and then just takes everything off of the change up the tip right over the block.
So Texas by 2. We're playing to 25 here in the 3rd set. Texas leads 2 sets to none. They win this one, they win the match. Eggleston denied that time. Petrova again tries the changeup. Proctor effective to set up Petrova. Pushed over by O'Neal. O'Neal plays it. Rally continues. Another 50-50. Ends up on Texas's side. Eggleston blocked, out of play, and a big hard-fought point for Texas.
Not going to fault either team here. Yes, Texas is going to get the point. Well played point by West Virginia. Saw them win a couple jousts there, but in the end, the Texas hit just too much. West Virginia showed a little grit here. Hasn't let Texas really get away from them.
And we've stayed within the 3-point margin through the entirety of this particular set. Fields, as that one is hit off of Stokes and over, 21-17. And just as we say that, that might be enough for Texas to pull away, but not before Coach Sonohara will slow things down in one final rally here as West Virginia looks to, especially on Friday the 13th. So Texas 4 points away from sweeping not only this match, but the weekend series as well. And that grazed the shoulder of Eggleston. Yes, it did. Big point for West Virginia. 3-point difference now.
3-point difference, you got to serve. If there's been a bright point for West Virginia here in set number 3, it's been number 13, Ogagar, coming through with a few thunderous hits that got the attention of this Coliseum crowd.
Petrova. Gabriel now for Texas. Fields softly over. Proctor going to give it over. And O'Neal is going to take advantage of that soft hit. 22-18. Texas now 3 points away.
Yeah, O'Neal is not going to miss this one. Not very often.
Texas 22, West Virginia 18. Number 1 Texas looking to stay undefeated in convincing fashion. Zerwas quickly over, gets the point.
Because the setter's in the front row, she can attack a ball above the plane of the net here. And she knows it, so this ball's up. She just turns on it, throws it down with some pace on that Texas side.
Here's Hastings for West Virginia. Gabriel down the middle, Butler blocked at the net, and Hastings is there for the Mountaineers. Petrova softly over, handled by Texas. Fields can get a good look, and it's off hands, out of play. Texas now 2 points away.
Yoshia going to get an assist here. Libero sets a perfect ball to her outside hitter.
Gabriel for the Longhorns. Hastings handles for West Virginia. Lux, big drive all the way into the scoreboard here. Eggleston just softly over. Zerwas with a smile on her face. And that attack off a hand and converted for Adams.
A good thing, partner, that the scoreboard is hollow in the middle, because that ball was up. It had some real height on it.
23-20. West Virginia would need to win virtually all 5 of these points if they want to win within 25. Not quite realistic, though, especially when Fields does that. We have reached match point 24-20. Fields, the leader in kills in this match, gets a crucial one there, and Texas can close things out with the next point.
Just another example of why she was that #1 recruit in her class.
So match point from Morgantown. Zerwas, Adams, off the antenna. Texas wins as #1 shows their power, and the Longhorns stay undefeated as they knock off number